Hello, today I'm going to go over a recent adventure I had to Covert Arch, right on the edge of Arches National Park. Typically, people access this arch via I-70 across a flat desert area with sagebrush, but for a more of an adventure, we started at Dewey Bridge. From Dewey Bridge, you'll climb up a steep incline until you access the top of Dome Plateau. On Dome Plateau, there's so many cool things to see. First thing you'll notice is this huge alcove that is forming right at the start of the trail. This alcove is gigantic. Who knows, one day this area could be an arch. And speaking of arch, if you look to your left, you will notice a large arch high up on the sandstone walls. There was once a more famous arch in this area named Arrowhead Arch, but unfortunately in 2010 that arch collapsed. From here, the trail continues along the edge of the Entrada Sandstone until you come up to this beautiful arch, La Boca Arch. La Boca Arch is located in an outcropping of Entrada Sandstone. The cool thing about the Entrada Sandstone is you get excellent grip with your shoes, and you can climb on top of this arch and explore the whole rock area here. You can spend an hour or more just climbing up and down the little rock indentions. From this area, we continued on to the overlook of the Professor Valley from Dome Plateau. For many people, this may be the highlight of the trip. It's such a beautiful area with the Colorado River snaking through the valley. To the left, you'll be able to see the Fisher Towers. To the right, you can see the priest and nun formations of Castle Valley. And from the overlook, we continued through the open sagebrush out across a area that was fairly interesting. It had some large standing rocks, some fins of Entrada sandstone, but you'll eventually come to Winter Camp Road. From here, you'll end up at a gate. The gate kind of makes it seem that you cannot continue any further, but trust me, you're okay. You are going right beside the wilderness study area. You cannot drive a vehicle in the wilderness study area, but the trail itself is the boundary. So as long as you stay on the trail, you are okay. You'll go down this trail about a 4/10 of a mile and you'll park and you'll just start cross country hiking to the right. You'll have to go a little over a mile, maybe a mile and a half until you finally come to the edge of Lost Springs Canyon. From the edge of the canyon, if you walk around to the left, you'll get the best view of the arch. But if you go to the right, you can walk along the edge of the canyon right up to the arch. Unfortunately, you were standing directly on top of the arch and cannot tell that you were on the arch. I was with my mother, and it was just a little too much for her to climb down into the canyon. But if you climb down into the canyon, you can walk along the shelf of the canyon all the way up and to the bottom of the arch. And this would probably be the best thing you could do as far as views and all. I would say that the canyon is about 400 feet deep at this point. Maybe hard to tell from this video and these pictures, but it's quite impressive canyon. From here, we returned back to our side by side and we continued on to our next point of entrance, which was Cave Springs. Cave Springs is a really unique area. It is a giant cave in the edge of the Entrada Sandstone, and they used it at one time to water cattle. There's a cattle trough that comes out, and you can also walk back up into the caves. There's two different caves here. One of them you can walk well back into it, maybe 100 feet or more. When you get to the back, there's hardly any light, just the little glimmer light that's coming in from the outside. It's a pretty neat thing, and there's a lot of cowboy glyphs on the rocks. Some of them are dated all the way back to 1897. There are signs showing that there are Indian artifacts in here, but whatever may be in there are long gone at this point. There's still one more cool thing to see. After leaving Cave Springs, you can continue on and you will eventually come to a mining camp. At the mining camp, there are two mining structures there. I don't know how old they are, but they look pretty old to me. They are built out of cross ties from the railroad. Not sure where they got them from. I guess there's the railroad near I-70 over near Thompson and Sago Canyon, but one of them is in good shape, this one right here, but there's another one that's about to collapse. Inside of them, there's some cool old artifacts, some cans and shelves and stuff. Another cool thing about the mining camp is right behind that mining shack, there's an old mine itself, and you can walk down into the mine. The one behind the camp is probably the most well preserved one. There's an old generator sitting out there, and you can kind of just walk straight down into it. It goes back into the rock a pretty good ways, and it seems sturdy, but enter it on your own risk. It's probably not the smartest thing in the world to walk inside of these caves, especially when they start going back. You can see how far this one goes. It's pretty good ways into the hill. I've missed it the first few times I was here, but if you go to the front side of the cabins on the other side of the trail, there's actually a whole nother group of tunnels. There's three or four entrance entrances, excuse me, that go into the rock, and they are a little more sketchy than this one. They are partially collapsed. There's a lot of rubble laying around, and there's a lot of timbers. This one, this to the left side, they're in fairly good shape, but if you go to the tunnels on the right side, the rocks all collapsed, and it's just I didn't walk into it. I got a picture from the outside, but it looked way too dangerous to go inside. On the way out of here, there's a door, I guess at one time it was used to block off the entrance to the tunnel, and it is the old Delta sign from the Montrose Airport over near Telluride. Now, how did that get all the way over here to Moab? I don't know, but I did see that it was written on the back of the sign. You can also see the little railroad tracks they use to push their ore carts around in. So at one time this was a active mine. I'm assuming that they were mining. There's that Delta sign right there. But I assume that at one time they were mining uranium here. That's what Moab is famous for, and that's what all the trails were created for the access to uranium mines in the area. This next tunnel is the one farthest to the right, and it is in the worst shape. I didn't go too far into it. Just kind of walked in the door and got a little bit of a video, but it's pretty sketchy in there. There's a lot of rocks falling, and it just does not look like it is going to stand up much longer. Here's kind of some of the picture. You can see the rock all over the place, and even the columns that are left just look very iffy, as if they could fall at any time. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've made it this far, you're probably interested in coming to Moab. So if you do, come check out our vacation rental at Moab Adventure Condo. You can find us on the web, moabadventurecondo.com. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. And, come spend the week with us, explore the Moab area, and find some of these hidden treasures. Thank you.